all the members for coming. The first meeting of the of this session. I wanted to do, we have a couple things, few things on the agenda, but a couple housekeeping matters. We will be meeting in our standing meeting on Thursday, which is 3 o'clock, and I plan on meeting on Tuesday. I don't anticipate, but there may be a chance to, or we need to call another meeting, but that's what we're planning right now. So, and then if you have, particularly to the subcommittee chairs, if you have anything, the bills you're working on, if you have any questions or whatever, we're going to try to do those Thursday, but get with me on that. So, on another matter, because I've had a lot of questions, we're moving forward on judicial redistricting. Where we are in the Senate, the plan is where the Senate ended up last year, where we passed. And in fact, I have filed the bill where we ended last year. If you'll notice, and you can direct people, because if they're having questions, it said code sections, but it's really the bill that we passed last year. So it says judicial redistricting code sections. Yeah, the last conference report. There is, the House is working, by all indications, diligently on that. So we're moving forward with the judicial redistricting on that. Excuse me. So that'll be coming up. Then I wanted to share with you I have this. Oh, before I move on, I wanted to welcome Rita to the committee. Thank you. Rita has replaced Judge Branning. So welcome amongst all the lawyers, Rita. I forgot, but welcome. So this was just sent to me. This is from CSG, which CSG is, we're members of that. I think I'm not gonna go over it, but I think it's very important if y'all look at it. The data, what's so funny, I guess, is what you hear reported in the media is different from the data a lot of times. And if you look at the Mississippi data, and by the way, this is the one kind of, I guess, collection of Mississippi data, you'll find that to be the case in different areas. And as is so much the case, Mississippi is good in a lot of places, and we have some bad things. So, for example, I'm just going to kind of highlight a couple things that I found interesting. Let's see. One was the unemployment rate in Mississippi. We're at 3.3%, the 10th lowest in the country. But we have the rate of 18% in terms of federal poverty level is we're above the national average. Okay, then if you look at all the numbers, literally the trends in violent crime are going down. Whatever's said out on the news, trends are going down. It's actually been that way in Mississippi too. Now there's things that have gone up. If you look at, and I'll say Mississippi has the lowest violent crime rate in the region and 7th lowest violent crime rate in the country. One of the other interesting stats that I found was in terms of, and I recently went to a conference where they talked about a lot of focus is being put on closure of cases, like solving of cases. And we have had in this committee about the sexual assault kits and things like that. In Mississippi, 67% of violent crimes were not solved, 8 percentage points worse than the national average. And rape is a violent crime least frequently solved in Mississippi. So when we did the rape kit bill, that's what we were trying to get at. And just on a demographic standpoint, let me see if I can find that. I guess the one on page 31, uh, and obviously you talk about racial disparities. In Mississippi, in 23, white people died at a higher rate than black people due to alcohol, drug overdoses, and suicide. Black people died at a higher rate than white people due to homicide. So they have the data broken down. So, and if you actually look at the numbers on the suicide, that is trending upwards. So we have the good and the bad. I thought this was worth looking at, and CSG puts together a good data points on that. So would reflect that. So any questions on anything like that? Okay. Moving on, we're going to go to item number 1, the Senate nomination number 59, Andre Degree, who has been nominated by the governor or renominated for the state defender in the office of the state public defender for 4-year term effective July 1st, 2024, ending June 30th of 2028. So you have the peer report before you, and if you haven't, while he's presenting, I'll let you look at that and see if you have any questions on that. But Andre, if you would, please just kind of, in addition to kind of speaking on your nomination, maybe just spend a couple minutes talking about things that you've are working on and where you're headed, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Thank you, Senator. Mr. Chairman, Andre Degree. I've been in Jackson for about 37 years now, resident of Jackson. Came here to go to law school, and I haven't left yet. Was not my plan, but I fell in love with Jackson and with my wife, and so we're here now and raised 5 kids here. I started out at what was called the Death Penalty Resource Center. It was a federally funded program that represented people on death row. That was it was housed at Mississippi College Law School. And when that closed, I went to work in the Hinds County Public Defender's Office, worked there under Tom Fortner for about 5.5 years. And in 2001, I was appointed to start the Capitol Defense Council, which was the first state public defender office. And we have, and still continue today, to do death penalty cases all over the state at the trial level and the appeal level. We don't do the post-conviction on those cases. Along the way, an appeals office was created, and then a training division for public defenders. And in 2011, those were all merged to form the state public defender, with the additional mission of studying ways to have a statewide public defender system. Mississippi is the only state in the Southeast without either a majority of state funding or state oversight. Every other state in the Southeast has one or the other. Most have both. So we've been working on that. And in 2016, I was appointed by Governor Bryant to be state defender, and have served, so this is now going into my 3rd term. I was reappointed by Governor Reeves when he took over, and then again reappointed. And so just that's sort of how I got here. This merger of the appeals office and Capitol Defense and the training division, and then we've now added a youth and family division. We do youth court work as well. So those are all under the state defender. We're continuing to do that work while we look to ways to improve indigent defense across the state. And we have 3 initiatives that we're working on right now. One is in the youth court area, and we've been working with the governor's office on his desired reforms in the youth court system. I would say it's a pleasure to work with the governor, especially since he appoints me, but we also sometimes do not work together on issues. But I'm not going to talk about those issues that we disagree on right now, because they're criminal justice related, but we will, the three initiatives we have is in the youth court area where we're expanding, building on what you did last year to mandate the right to counsel for parents and before their children are taken away from them. I think that was a tremendous benefit to poor people in Mississippi. And so I really applaud you for that. And we're now contracting with lawyers, one at Mission First, two legal service lawyers, and then also private practitioners who work on an hourly rate around the state to do some of those cases. Majority of that work still rests with the counties, though, and we're trying to develop this plan to relieve that burden. We've also been involved in Hinds County, both in two ways. We have an ARPA-funded backlog project that we're winding down now. And we're part of HB 1020, where lawyers were provided to the Hinds County Public Defender's Office to work in the CCID court to represent the people who are being arrested by Capitol Police. And so one of our initiatives is working with that office and the local delegation, as well as the Board of Supervisors. We are requesting an expansion of that to meet what's actually happening. When 1020 was passed, no one knew how many people would be arrested. We didn't know how the geographic footprint of the CCID has grown. The number of officers in Capitol Police has grown. The Chief Justice has seen that in asking for additional judges, and we need additional public defenders too. So that's a second initiative we've got. And our third initiative that we're focused on because we think it can help most of Mississippi. We want to develop a rural, what is called a day one public defender office. Actually with me today, she's been with us this week and has done some site visits. Pam Metzger from the Deason Center at SMU is sort of our technical advisor.
Who's with us?
She is with us today. Professor Metzger she and I combined have probably represented very few people in rural America. But we are learning a lot and working with a lot of people that, and they are already way ahead of Mississippi working in Kansas, which has really similar problems, except they're state-funded public defenders, so they're going to be able to solve those problems quicker. But we have this pilot project in the 5th Judicial District, 7 counties in north central Mississippi. We started meeting with Judge Loper in November in Carroll County, Carrollton, and when I called him and told him what we were working on and what we wanted to do, he said, well, you want to see rural, come to Carroll County and be sure you make it there on the first day because there might not be anything left to do on the second day. And so we have been around that district and still have some more site visits to do. But one of our requests is for an appropriation so that we can launch a rural public defender pilot project in that district. And with that, if there are any questions.
Yeah, before I do, I'm glad you brought that up, and I meant to mention this when I was talking about the report. Actually, one of the things is that it highlights that you've heard nationally is in rural America, nationally, homicides have increased 41% between 2013 and 2023. And you're seeing, for whatever reason, I don't know, but you're seeing an increase in the rural areas. So, and that's shown in this data here. So I would imagine that's partly why they're doing what they're doing. So I'll open it up to questions from anybody. Senator Simmons.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question is, how much is the request for the pilot program?
I think it's about 840,000. We're asking for 4 lawyers. We use a mid-level assistant district attorney salary as what we expect the average salary to be. Some of those lawyers we intentionally want to hire young lawyers, law clerks, or law graduates who currently are leaving Mississippi to go work in other states. We want to try to, so part of this project is to keep people in Mississippi as they graduate and to keep them in, to bring them into a rural area because we think they may stay. You know, people won't think that you would move to someplace like Brookhaven and spend the rest of your life there, but there are actually people who do that.
Thank you.
Senator Boyd, oh, Senator Boyd.
Thank you. One of the things that you just said y'all spent a lot of time doing, and this is not in any way, I know you're here for your confirmation hearing, but while you're here, we spent a lot of time talking about the issues in youth court. This committee has and other committees has too. You were going out across the state, and one of the things we consistently hear is that there is a lot of variation in how youth courts are run across the state. There's significant differences in that. Can you kind of shed light on some of those comments I just made?
Yes, and what we're, first I would say that just the number of youth courts, 82 youth courts, is a huge problem. And that's the first thing we're seeing. We've got lawyers who've been trained to do family defense or do youth defense, and we're having a hard time bringing them on as our regular contract defenders because the cases in their area are all scheduled on the same day. So that's one part, and that's something that the commission's recommendations of going, whether you go from 82 to 44 or 82 to 20, anything's better than 82. It's just too many places, too many dockets. On the point of things happening differently, we only get in either where we take a case or where we're invited in. And that's I think a problem with youth court, that we hear a lot of things, and the fact that people can't show up and see what's happening, and I don't mean the general public, I mean lawyers, to be able to go in and see. We want to be in to see what the lawyers that we're training are doing. And I know that there are others who would like judicial performance to be able to walk in uninvited. Because if you show up on the day you're invited, you're going to see a good court. And that's not what we need to see in those courts.
So are you saying that even that judicial performance is being kept out of those courtrooms?
It is my understanding that at this time, both the sharing of data is limited to judicial performance, and they can't go into the court without permission from the court. And the commission, that's coming from the committee. It's not something I knew about until the Commission on the Youth Courts produced their report with the recommendation that judicial performance be specifically authorized to go in.
Thank you.
Senator Barrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I could speak on behalf of Andre Degree in regard to his confirmation. I have been a public defender in youth court, municipal, county, justice, circuit.
He may not want you speaking on his.
Well, he's gonna get it. He's
Well.
taking a shot at Brookhaven already, so he's gonna get it. But I can say that Andre raises the bar every year, it seems. Not only does he do a good job for the state, but he's very personable. And if I have a question about a particular case, I can call upon him. And if he doesn't know the answer, he'll direct me in the right way. And I think it's important, this position. We all hear about crime rates, and I think you alluded to this CSG, these statistics. You know, we're concerned with crime rates, and we hear the negatives, and public defenders are often looked down upon. But I think it's important that that you have this position, and that some of us are filling the gaps, because in a lot of cases, we're the last person between that person and the government. And it certainly feels like kind of a Lone Ranger at certain times. So thank you for what you do. And I certainly am in favor of Mr. Degree.
Right, somebody else have? Senator Simmons?
Just one follow-up question, from Senator Boyd's question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Thank you. Andre, the limitation, when you spoke about youth courts, so the limitation regarding the sharing of data and youth courts not allowing the Office of the Public Defender and or the Office of Judicial Performance to come in, is that limitation in the law?
It is. The court is both under Section 261 of the Youth Court Act, where the spells out who can get access to the My Kids computer system. I would say now, through working with the AOC, we do now have access. We can look at files. But the access to the court is controlled through, in Section 203, through the individual judge.
Mhm.
They have the authority to let in people, and I will say that we've not had a judge tell us no when we ask to go in. And we have done trainings with the Youth Court Judges Association and have good follow-up with them. But the attempt to monitor 82 different courts is just not, it's not practical.
Well, I just wanted that clarification, especially for a lot of the members in this room as it relates to the extent they have youth court judges or county court judges who actually have youth courts, that it's it's probably not them, but maybe something that we need to do here at the Capitol to provide you and the Office of Judicial Performance the support that they need to go into our youth courts.
We've made some recommendations in the past. This was, there were some significant problems before there was a county court in Hancock County. And part of the outcome of media exposure from the Hancock County was to create a county court, so you had a full-time judge there. But it is where we look at about half of the states have virtually open youth court. The purpose of closing youth court is to protect the kids and protect the families, and not to protect the court. And it has evolved into something that the family can't even bring someone in with them. And there models around here, Alabama and Arkansas, that have limited open courts, which is what we're advocating for. We're not advocating for the general public to be able to go in and see an abuse and neglect hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Not seeing any further questions. Andre, I will note that the peer committee mentioned that you need to file the statement of economic interest.
Okay.
I don't think we have to do that too. Not that we've missed that, but it says that you haven't done it since 2020, and you can go back and fill those in.
Okay.
So should you be confirmed? Any other questions? All right, do I have a motion on this, Senator Barrett?
Yes, I'll make the motion.
And okay, thank you. The motion is to advise and consent on Senate nomination 59. All in favor say aye. All opposed? All right, okay, that it passes, and congratulations, we'll take you to the full Senate. Thank you. All right, we're gonna go, on your agenda, we have two double referred bills, so I want to get those over to appropriations, and then one repealer bill. So 2479, in short, and I'll call that up, that is for to raise the pay of district attorney investigators, this is on the prosecutor's top agenda item. We haven't done a pay raise for the investigators in a long time. And if you look at line 29, that's raising it up to $75,000 with a supplement up to $10,000. And that's the bill. So I'd open up to any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What was it prior?
60,500.
Thank you.
We have, so that we've raised salaries for different ones, including assistant DAs. We've raised, judges got a raise, so we're working towards this. Okay. Yeah. If you look at, the question is it capped? And it says shall not be more than 75,000. All right, do I have if there's no other questions, I have a motion. Motion is title sufficient, do pass. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Thank you. That will go to appropriations. Next, we'll go to Senate Bill 2489. We did pass this last year. In short, the current law is that our judges, do get a per diem for when they're in Jackson and working. This allows them, if they're not in Jackson, to do that, but capped at 12 days a year, and in no case can they get a per diem more than 20 days. I don't mind saying that this was something our former colleague, Judge Branning, was asking about, so that's what, it's funny how that happens. So, with that, is there any questions? Do I have motions title sufficient, do pass? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Thank you, that carries. Okay, Senate Bill 2787. If you look at the language on Section 5, we are repealing the repealer. This repealer came up for consideration, and so what we're doing, we've had no problems or anything like that, and so we're repealing the repealer, correct, Ethan? Motion is title sufficient, do pass. All in favor say aye. All opposed? That carries. All right, that, we will adjourn and we will meet on Thursday. Thank you very much.
Rise and report.
Rise and report. Thank you. No, that's fine. Oh, but it's subcommittee?
Yeah.
Yeah.